by Domino's Pizza, where you always get great pizza, plus something for nothing.
13-3 Buffalo at the half. It could have been much worse from Miami's perspective. The Bills have lived in Buffalo territory, rather in Miami territory, for the first 30 minutes. Settled for a field goal when they had 4th and less than a yard. Had a touchdown call back by a holding penalty and missed the field goal. Had an interception near the goal line. So Don Shula can't be thrilled, but it could be worse.
Listen, let's give the Miami secondary credit. We can see here watching the game, even though the front of their defense has been getting beat, they've had great coverage downfield all day. Kelly went deep twice. They intercepted twice. On the other side of it, I think Kelly's done a great job with play selection. He just hasn't executed well when he's thrown deep. He's only one completion to a wide receiver for 10 yards. That's it. That's his longest throw outside.
Speaking of play selection, John, they've impressed you with their use of the screen.
They really have. I think the one way that you beat crowd noise in a pass rush, you throw the screen. And once Jim threw the interception down there in the plus territory in the first half, they've come back and kind of thrown it sideways, and they get it to Thurman Thomas here, who, in my opinion, is the best player on the field, and he goes in for the touchdown. So like Will said, they have done a great job in play selection.
Let's take a look at what the two Buffalo running backs have done. Thurman Thomas, hampered by injuries, has not been very effective the last couple of weeks against Houston and Pittsburgh, but he comes back very strong with 65 rushing yards and 55 through the air, including the touchdown. And you see what Kenneth Davis has done in support of him. Now, on the other side, Marino has been pressured all day. He's been sacked 3 times. He also had a couple of passes knocked down, and in another instance he had to hurry the pass. So they've been getting the rush on him.
There's no question, and they've been playing man coverage in the secondary, and that's the way you stop Dan Marino. You get in his face, and they've done that and really eliminated Miami getting anything going on offense.
Despite that, a couple of drops hurt Marino deep in Buffalo territory. Clayton dropped one. Martin had a more difficult catch, but he could have caught it and didn't.
There's 2 big plays right there that he did have a drop, and Dan put it on the ball, and they just haven't made the plays. Miami's made so many mistakes the first half, and those are 2 that really stand out.
All right, OJ is outside the Bills locker room. Let's go to the juice.
Well, as we spoke about in the pregame show, we felt that the key to this game, at least I did, was the ability of Cornelius Bennett and Bruce Smith to put some pressure on Dan Marino. As you guys covered, yeah, they've been getting to him. They're forcing them out of their game plan. They would much rather throw the ball downfield. If you notice on that sack by Smith, that was a 3 or 5 step drop. Normally you can't get to Marino that quickly. They've been constantly pressuring them, and that's what the defense has been geared to do. That's what they want to do all week. The other concern is Thurman Thomas, his condition. I talked to him coming up the tunnel here. He was the last guy to lead the field. He was walking slow. He says, "Juice, I'm fine. Nothing is hurting. I just didn't practice this week, so I got to worry about my condition and my win." And consequently, they're giving him a few breaks in the first half. That story over here with the Bills, what's happening with the Dolphins, Todd?
Well, OJ, one of the points that you made is well taken. That's regarding the protection of Dan Marino. I had a chance to talk with John Sandusky, the offensive line coach, and I said, what is it you have to do to keep the pressure off Marino? And he made a very interesting point. He says, we have to run the ball. Now, the Dolphins are not known as a running team, but they have to take some pressure off of Marino because they can't continue to go back 3 times and throw the ball. I asked Keith Jackson how his ankle was. This was his reaction. It hurts. Then I also had a chance to talk with Tom Olivedati about the defense, if there are going to be any major adjustments. And he said he didn't think so. Well, I have a tendency to disagree. If for any other reason than they have twice as many total yards, twice as many first downs, 3 times as many rushing yards. But echoing your sentiment, Bob, they feel very fortunate they're only down 10 points.
Okay, there were 5 turnovers in the first half. Miami had 3 of them, Buffalo 2, the Bills 13, and Miami 3 at the half. Will and John Elway will be back with us on the postgame show, and we'll hand things over to Dick Enberg and Bob Trumpy for the call of the second half right after these messages from your local station. Where the Buffalo Bills lead the Miami Dolphins 13-3. First, a look at the Coors Light halftime statistics. What those numbers don't show you, other than a 2-1 total yardage Bills over Miami, is field position, Bob Trumpy. The Dolphins started 7 series at their own 20. Buffalo started an average 50-yard line. That's 30-yard difference times 7. That's 210 yards of real estate. So in every way, Buffalo should have a huge commanding lead, but they don't.
Yeah, and as the guy said at halftime, I mean, that's the one saving grace for Miami, that they're still in this football game. But Dick, I'm beginning to wonder if what we saw last week against San Diego offensively for Miami was the aberration. This is the way the Miami offense has played over the last 5 regular season games. They could not figure out why, but the last time they played Buffalo, they started the game with 2 great drives and could not do a thing after that. They're looking an awful lot like the late season Miami Dolphins offensively.
Yeah, it's 1 touchdown. It was the kind of play, that screen pass, where the coaches for Buffalo, when they see it on the film, they'll give themselves a standing ovation.
Sometimes, Dick, you draw plays up and they work, but they never work this good. Watch the motion by Andre Reed. Draw a man out in coverage. The 3 linemen get out on this screen. It's beautifully sold by Jim Kelly, and there is absolutely no Miami Dolphins there to make the tackle. At the end of this play, look in the end zone. James Lofton making the key block to allow Thurman Thomas to get in. Beautifully executed, and I'm telling you, you hope they work that well.
James Lofton, the veteran, one of the many weapons of this Buffalo team, regarded at the start of the season as the team that figured to repeat in the AFC, but they found their own problems in the late season. Houston beating them in the final game to knock them out of the AFC Eastern title, although they finished with the same record as Miami. Miami deemed the winner and thus had the home field advantage. Bruce Smith gives any team an advantage.
Yes, he does. By the way, we saw a picture of Jim Kelly. There were reports around the country that Jim Kelly, by starting this game, would receive a huge bonus.
$200,000.
And we talked last night extensively with Bill Polian, the general manager, and he said that is totally untrue, that the start of Jim Kelly had no monetary attachment to it. Yes, there are team incentives. If the team wins the game, yes, he gets a bonus, and he's got to play, but it's not the $200,000 that was reported.
Steve Christie to kick it off. Second half underway. Miami trailing 13-3. It's Mike Williams. Williams
fumble
at the 24, and Buffalo says they have it. They do.
My goodness.
So the problems for the Dolphins continue. The Bills again force a play, and they present Kelly with the ball inside the 25 of Miami.
We should see the entire thing. I think Carwell Gardner eventually comes up with this ball. Pike, 94, makes a hit. Gardner makes the hit. And the recovery, the daily double for Carwell Gardner.
It was Pike, though, that really forced the fumble, and Pike has led the Bills on special teams in tackles all season long. Somewhat unusual for a defensive lineman. Pike, who weighs 272 pounds, he had 26 special teams tackles this year. Another golden chance for the Bills to blow it open. Thomas tripped up at the 21. Chuck Klingbeil getting out there, the nose tackle, number 99.
Dick, last week, of course, Miami had the great field position. Now Marv Levy and his Buffalo Bills enjoy the great field position. Don Shulik, and he's coached enough games to know that what a difference 7 days would make. One Sunday it all goes your way. The next Sunday you can't do anything right.
Spotted at the 20. Thomas again, big hole, and he fumbles. Miami recovers, or do they?
Beebe gets it.
Coleman tried to run with it and dropped it again, and Buffalo gets it right back. Oh my.
Don Beebe gets it. From behind the defense, an excellent push again by the offensive line of the Buffalo Bills. Who strips it away? We'll give it to Oliver. Looked like he stripped it away. Coleman's trying to make a big play here. Just get on the ground and keep it. He never gets off the ground with it, and Don Beebe makes the recovery. First down, Buffalo.
Yes, Marco Coleman, the ball right there. All they had to do was squat on it. It was Miami's ball. He tried to pick it up and run. Didn't pick it up at all.
Rookie mistake.
So it is going all Buffalo's way. Miami with a chance to reverse the trend. Thomas doesn't get much as Jeff Cross is there to welcome. Lifford Hobley was the man who forced the fumble from the backside on Thomas, who rarely coughs up the ball. For all of his carries, all of his exposures, he is sure-handed.
Well, the percentages say today that Buffalo will not score a touchdown. They've been in here and gotten field goals.
Thomas.
Fletcher, 51-69. Great block by 35, Carwell Gardner. Thurman Thomas sets up his block so beautiful. You can't coach it. And he leaves the game. And who is this other guy coming in here? Kenneth Davis? Who's he?
They like to use him on the goal line, and they also like to use the pass to the lineman, Mitch Farrat, who is an eligible receiver lined up on the left side. He has 3 touchdowns this year. Nope, it's Davis. Can he get around the corner? No signal yet. Touchdown. Davis using his speed. He's actually faster than Thomas. In fact, he says the linemen say, slow it up. Don't be quite so quick. Let us set up the blocks.
That little step inside, that little hesitation just freezes the defense. And then it's a foot race with Griggs 92 to the sideline. And the official right there in front puts his hands up. Well, they take out Thurman Thomas. They put in Kenneth Davis. And he makes an all-pro run for a score.
So Mike Williams' fumble on the kickoff return to start the second half becomes 6 points, and here's Christie trying for 7. And it took Buffalo just 2 minutes to get the job done from 24 yards out, although Thomas had fumbled, and apparently Miami had a recovery in its grasp, but Marco Coleman trying to do too much, perhaps a rookie mistake. Davis leaning across the goal line, and Buffalo leads 20-3.
By Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By John Nuveen and Company, quality tax-free investment since 1898. By Diet Coke, as a reminder to taste it all. And by the card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Welcome back, Marco Coleman, number 90. He had the ball there to stop Buffalo and left it behind. All right, so Steve Christie to kick it off. Williams is going to get another chance on the run. He's toppled across the 25 by Gardner again.
We saw him looking on the sideline. He wants to make the big play now. You see the ball jarred loose. Coleman gets it. Goes down. Now they give him 90 for a reason, Dick, and 90 has nothing to do with getting up and suddenly being 32. So when you get a chance to get on the ball, pal, get on it, stay right there. We'll take possession. You're not going to be a running back.
He's been a top rookie defender, and the kind of talent that now will have to think about the mistake and have the opportunity to make amends. 2 minutes into the second half, and Buffalo with a big lead. Aaron Craver hit by Bruce Smith and Darryl Talley.
Well, certainly doing the Buffalo Bills a favor by running here, but a big part of what Miami does is play action. You have to draw up the defense as best you can to get those receivers open, and Don Shula and Gary Stevens, the quarterback coach there in the sunglasses, you know, we're now at the desperate part of this football game. We need big scores now.
And the Bills have taken this noisy crowd out of the game at the moment. There we go. Through the hands and almost to Duper. Clayton to Duper. Incomplete at the 45. But it just seems to be every play has a mistake written on it for Miami.
It is not bouncing Miami's way. It has not since the game began. I mean, this goes through a lot of hands here.
Both Clayton and Duper appeared to have a decent chance to pull it in. Bobby Humphrey in on 3rd down and 8. And Miami 1 for 6 third down conversions today. Buffalo, by the way, 6 of 10. Banks in motion, 4 wide receivers. Incomplete to Humphrey, and it was well read by Talley. Boy, Darryl Talley did his homework. He seems to be where the ball is on almost every play.
He's backing up the line of scrimmage. They've got 6 defensive backs in the ball game, and with one running back, I mean, Talley's got coverage on that running back. You're going to see him. He's right in front of Dan Marino. See him just sitting there looking, and they try to get it to Humphrey. The toughest part of Darryl Talley's weekend so far has been surviving Bruce Smith's snoring.
That's right. Line drive returnable by Roby. The Bills relied on a fair catch. That's one of their rare mistakes as just acquired reactivated Chris Hale comes up with it.
Brought to you by Domino's. Call Domino's Pizza now, and you'll be enjoying free twisty bread and a free garden fresh salad with a large one-topping pizza when the game is over.
Welcome back. Just under 12 minutes to go in the third, and our thanks for today's overhead shots to Captain Marshall and the crew of the Goodyear Blimp. Stars and Stripes from Pompano Beach, Florida. What a day to be up in the blue looking down at the Joe Robbie Modern Football Complex. Kenneth Davis with a handoff from Kelly. And he gets about 3 out to the 33. Lewis Oliver and others with a tackle.
Well, the good thing about the Dolphins when they're in this situation is they got a good enough group of defensive backs, big hitters. They can jar the ball loose. That's the only way Miami's going to get back in this football game. Turnovers and turnovers now.
Kelly over the middle to Reed. And he's close to the first down at the 40 as Stephen Braggs, who has been his shadow throughout the day, number 36, makes the tackle.
Braggs cut twice by the Miami Dolphins already this year. Tried out twice with the Washington Redskins. Originally cut from the Cleveland Browns earlier this season. And you can see Andre Reed just running a little slant. Braggs does make the tackle, but this kid Braggs has been around the NFL this year.
Not quite enough. So it'll be third down for Buffalo.
Dick, it'd be interesting to see here. Buffalo likes this hurry-up offense, how they use the clock here. There is no reason to be in any hurry. See if they can be a little more deliberate here with that left to go in the third.
And again, the delicious down for a quarterback. 3rd and inches. All the options are there, including play action and go for it all. And Davis easily with a first down gets 3+ when he needed only an inch. John Grimsley makes the stop. And Don Shula told us a week ago in facing San Diego, his greatest fear is to have a team do what his great team of 20 years ago did, the Zonka team in Greasy, where they just pounded it down the field, kept the ball 8 minutes, got the touchdown, and you couldn't get to it. He denied San Diego, but now it's Buffalo that Miami has to stop. And this will irritate him most of all if they just pick up 3 yards, 4, first down, 3, 4, first down.
Yeah, it just keeps the defense on the field. And eventually the defense begins to wear out a little bit. The offensive yards come a little easier. Goodness.
Buffalo, the best in the NFL at running the football. Andre Reed gets out of the trap and is going to pick up yardage. Great effort by Reed. He should have lost 5 and he gained 6. Troy Vincent finally got him.
We see another aspect of quarterback Jim Kelly. When this reverse is reversed by Andre Reed, Jim Kelly turns around and says, oh, wait a minute, I'm a lead blocker here. What shall I do? Yeah, I'll get in somebody's way. Pick out a big guy. It's Briggs. Get him on the ground. Little wrong gone for Buffalo today when a reverses and picks up yards.
And bonus personal points to Kelly for the block. Davis met by Jeff Cross up on top and Chuck Klingbeil underneath. Klingbeil, his mother Nancy here watching and cheering for him today, came down from the cold of the Upper Peninsula in Michigan.
And what was that book he was reading courtesy of his mom?
The Hammer, the Dave Schultz Boston Bruins. So he's a big hockey fan. He was a defender and a policeman when he played hockey, and Schultz was the ultimate with the Bruins, with the 76ers. Brad Lamb all the way to the 35-yard line before Braggs can bump him out of bounds. 16 more for Buffalo.
Dick, you see this Miami Dolphin defense committing so much right here at the point of attack that the reverses are open. Lamb with excellent speed. Look at he's got Parker out there in front of him. Somehow Parker does not see Stephen Braggs. 16-yard pickup. Drive stays alive, and the life and the real drama of this game is draining quickly away from Miami.
20-3 Buffalo with 9 minutes to go. Davis tries to reverse, but not this time. Marco Coleman makes the tackle for a loss back at the 39.
It's seldom that they try just a straight little handoff here to the outside. Normally they try to pull a guy. Wolford there is trying to block Marco Coleman, who for 265 pounds, Coleman is one of the best run defensive ends you can find in the league.
Kelly drills it complete. And it is Andre Reed whistled down by Braggs. Braggs, you can see those big arm pads. They call him Chicken Wings, is his nickname here with Miami. He uses those as part of his defensive armor.
But in covering Andre Reed, there should be little contact. Reed, a good push up the field. Actually, Braggs plays it pretty darn well. You can't do much better than that with a 7 or 8 yard cushion, and somebody comes flying through there.
3rd and a short 6. Buffalo 9 for 13 on 3rd down. To McKellar, a tight end with a first down at the 19, and a great throw by Kelly. They were blitzing him, and he was throwing just as he was going to have to eat about a 225-pound charge.
And he stands in there. Look at the way he looks over to the left. Tries to get the safety off of where he's going to throw it. Boy, Jeff Cross right in his face. Kelly knows he's going to get nailed. Throws it right between the 8 and the 4.
Make it a 265-pound opponent into Kelly's chest. McKellar with a first down at the 19. Very impressive Buffalo today. Now it's Thurman Thomas. It's just one Pro Bowler after another on this Buffalo roster. In fact, 9 of them going to Hawaii. David Griggs makes the stop.
Dick, you can begin to see the toll it's taking on the Miami defense when players get up off the field, hands on hips. What is going on here? Geez, this worked so good. Yes, last week, what is happening? There's the hands on hips. Certain fatigue, certain frustration now in the Dolphin defense.
Screen to Thomas. The touchdown maker, Thomas, is into the 3-yard line, maybe the 2. Larry Webster saved a touchdown, and a big block from Pro Bowler Will Wolford, 69.
This is the same screen they scored on. The only thing is they didn't have Reed go in motion. It even beats the blitz. So Richer, 51 out there, 69 Wolford. They ran 4 screens in the first half. First quarter, every one of them worked, scored on one, come back to the screen. Boy, that's a play that they looked at this week in preparation for Miami and said, this is golden.
Thurman Thomas with 157 yards of offense for Buffalo today. He has outgained Miami by a bunch. Carwell Gardner, a rare call, did not surprise Miami, picked up a yard. Gardner, who had a couple of touchdowns this season but didn't carry, but just a handful, had 166 yards.
This is a position where Mitch Barat, John Fina, number 70, is another guy who becomes eligible. You lobbied for him earlier.
The Pitbull. He wants to be a wrestler after his NFL career. He said, probably, I asked him, good guy, bad guy. He said, with my looks? He has 3 touchdown catches this year. 13th play of the drive. Barat doesn't get a chance. Gardner does. Chase back, and he'll take the loss. Collier, Oliver in on the play. 3rd and goal.
This Buffalo offense can do so many things, can it? When it needs to. The drive down the field in little bits and pieces, nothing fancy. They try 2 or 3 reverses. The screen works here and there.
In come Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, James Lofton, and Don Beebe on 3rd and goal from the 5.
The Dolphins counter with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DBs.
Beebe way out to the right. Vincent on him. And here comes Reed, and they give to Thomas. Oh, look at the move. And they corral him It takes more than that first hit to bring Thomas down, and the Dolphin defense, at least a moral victory, brings on Christie for the short field goal. Christie 2 for 3, made his first from 21, then hit a 33-yarder in the second quarter, hooked one to the left from 38. This one right in the middle of the field will be 21 yards. And the Buffalo count up 3 more. Bills 23, Dolphins 3. Mathematics simply, the Buffalo Bills almost a 3-touchdown lead with 3.5 left in the third. Christie, it's high and fairly short. Aaron Kraber met by Mark Maddox, Northern Michigan, and will take a timeout. 3:18 to go in the third. Buffalo 23-3. They've tried 4 field goals. They've been intercepted twice inside the 5-yard line and still lead by 20. And look at this. They were down 28-3 to Houston after the first half of the first game of the playoffs. Since then, 85-16, they've outscored the opposition. And the defense, since that first half against Houston, has not given up a touchdown. That's 2 full games. Field goal to Houston in that second half, and a field goal to Pittsburgh last week, and just a field goal today. The touchdown by Houston in the second half was Bubba McDowell. You can't knock the defense for that. And there is the defense in Bruce Smith.
Yeah, well, it appears when the Buffalo Bills began to have a little trouble late in the season, there were a lot of people who said, wait a minute, the Bills aren't what they were before. They're bickering, they're doing this. As Miami's going to the hurry up here now, but their ability has been underestimated.
2nd and 10, Marino throwing in a hurry. He saw the pressure coming from Jeff Wright. Wright circling on a game around the outside.
They can put pressure. Look, they're still committing 2 guys to Bruce Smith.
So Hansen.
So Hansen is in there on a single guy. He gets around Dellenbach.
So Marino started 5 for 6 in this game. Has been 3 of 13 since, and he's been knocked around.
And last week, no Gressning. They didn't even rush in San Diego.
3rd and 10. Dolphins have shown no offense this second half. And he misses Fred Banks. But again, in Marino's behalf, he had Cornelius Bennett just breathing all over him.
If Cornelius Bennett had a 38-inch sleeve length, he would have got Marino. He beat the tackle, but he just couldn't quite stretch his arm out to get another sack.
5 consecutive passes hit the ground for Marino, so Roby not having his best day into punt. He lines it deep to Clifford Hicks. The depth, but also the low kick, very returnable, and Hicks all the way to the 47-yard line. 51 on the punt, 16 on the return. Timeout. Come back on a day where Remigio Almori up there in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, and all you golfers in the North must say, oh, they're probably out there hitting it today. And we've got golf for you next Saturday. Skills Challenge presents the Enterprise Rent-A-Car. All the top names going after it at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Driving, short game, iron shots, bunker shots, treble shots, putting. It'll be fun for you golfers. Kenneth Davis on his own fairway to the 23-yard line.
Yep, it's another screen. I don't know that I've ever seen a football game in the professional ranks where a series of screens has been more featured. You'll see Davis completely. Now Ken Hull, the center. McKellar comes over, and then it's the foot race, and Davis almost wins it. It's so rare to build an offense against a defense on a screen, and it's worked magnificently all day for Buffalo.
Why? Why shouldn't Miami be able to defend it?
Young, aggressive defense across the line of scrimmage. Linebackers trying to cover wide receivers. There are several holes in that defense.
Davis again, as they have run on first down consistently. J.B. Brown makes the tackle, nearly 5 on the play. Make it more than 5. They put up 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, you know, one other factor about the screen, it's almost cruel to a defense. The defensive line rushes past the offensive line. Breakneck speed, all energy expended. The short little pass, they turn around, they got to turn around and chase the guy for a tackle. There's probably no play that wears out a defensive lineman more than the screen.
Alabadati mentioned that hurry-up offense of Buffalo really is a demon for the defensive coordinator, because you just have to look at your chart. But in this case, there's more time being taken by Kelly between plays. Davis tripped up at the 15, where it'll be 3rd down and 2. Now let's walk us through there, Coach Trumpy, one of those screen plays.
Well, you've seen the screen to the outside. This time they come with the middle, and watch what happens when the defensive line come up the field and then suddenly have to turn around and try to get back in the pursuit. There's Reed again, drawing a man out of support. Davis sets up. Now watch the defensive line. All of them turn around. Now they got to race 30 yards down the field to make the tackle. That's rubbing your nose in it.
Third and 2, Buffalo. Final seconds, 3rd quarter. Davis will be close. Klingbeil's had a good game. Makes another hit for the Miami Dolphins. As the final second ticks away, there's the gun on a day in Miami that spells Buffalo. Back to Joe Robbie. There was so much enthusiasm during the week after the 31-0 win against San Diego. They expended a lot of energy early, but that pretty well tells the story. Dolphins, if this were a sitcom, it would have been canceled. Not much interest.
You're right.
Not much fun.
Both teams over the last 2 days when we've spent with them, too. Such great enthusiasm for each team's chances.
It all pointed to a game that might come down to a field goal, but it hasn't been that way, although a field goal is about what we're going to see on the first play of this.